He's 43 years old. He don't want to work.
But you slept with him without protection. At this point, the insults are irrelevant. 2 years later, still sitting up here arguing with eeny, meeny, miny, and no, we don't know this, and she did this, and he did this, talking about nothing.
After a 6-year relationship between Thomas and Nelson that birthed 5 beautiful kids, Nelson is in doubt about the true paternity of their 5th child, Jakai. When asked why she thinks Nelson was denying her son, Miss Thomas claimed that it is probably because Nelson recently got married to another woman.
The only thing that I can think of is because he recently got married.
Is that true, Mr. Nelson?
No, it's not, John. It was good in the beginning when we first started having children. And then after that, it's like me and her started like both doing our own little thing. And we was already about to split, but she ended up getting pregnant. But at that time, she was already messing around with other guys.
So, Nelson believes that Thomas's son belongs to one of the numerous men with whom she had sexual relationships, despite her claiming that it is not true. How did these two even get here? Throwing infidelity accusations at each other. I mean, according to Thomas, they used to be extremely happy together and in love with each other.
Our relationship, it was good. That was my best friend. We did everything together.
Take your time. I know it's hard.
Yana, we was both young at the time, and we was both new to the whole parent thing. After that, we done got older and grew, and it's like we grew apart away from each other. And I still, even if I'm married, I still be trying to keep a good relationship with her to talk and stuff like that. It don't have to be. We just know we can't be together.
Hearing that story would make you think that these two were so deep in love that they would weather through any storm together. However, it turns out that they both cheated on each other. First, it was Nelson. Next, it was Thomas. And by the time Nelson found out that Thomas was cheating on him, things turned sour immediately.
So wait a minute, you had 4 children together and then you find out Miss Thomas is with another guy?
Yes.
How did you find that out?
The dude's picture was popping up on her phone.
It didn't start like that. He decided to leave because at that time we did grow apart.
What is this? Why then do you start having other men popping up on your phone?
It wasn't men, it was that one man.
This is just sad. After 5 years together and 4 children, this is how they decided to ruin their relationship. When the relationship between Thomas and Nelson began to crash, the latter observed that Thomas was having pregnancy symptoms. However, when they did a test, the result came out negative.
And Your Honor, that same day he said that, we walked to the store and I took 2 pregnancy tests in front of him, and then they ended up negative. So I was not pregnant. I also had an app on my phone tracking my periods when I'm ovulating, and I have it right here.
In October, it looks like around the 28th is when your cycle begins.
Yes, Your Honor.
At this point, things are still not clear on where Thomas's sexual relationship with the other man comes in to prove that he is truly a potential baby daddy. According to Thomas's cycle calendar, all fingers are pointing toward Nelson, but he claims that he doesn't even remember being intimate with Thomas on the day she claims it happened.
Do you remember those dates, Mr. Nelson?
No, I do not, Yana. When I got back from North Carolina, I had went through her phone. She was like, every time I had sex with him, and this is after you left, I started having sex with this guy.
So wait a minute, how did you find out about the other guy exactly, Mr. Nelson?
I told him.
She honest, I'm not gonna lie, but she do be honest.
I told him.
So what did you say? You just came to him and said, I have something to tell you?
We weren't having sex. We was never having sex no more.
We weren't.
2 months go by, 3, I'm like,
damn! But all of that is not even the crazy part. It turns out that the woman Nelson is now married to, Mrs. Courtney Nelson, is the same person he was cheating on Thomas with back when they were still together. What's worse is that despite the fact that Nelson is now married to Courtney, he is still messing around with Thomas. Here, take a look at their messy situation.
Mind you, he was cheating on me with her. I didn't know about her until I found out she was calling him through Facebook, and he was trying to lie then because we were still messing around even when he was with her.
I wish I had the old phone. I could show you.
I have text messages also that we still mess around still to this day.
In the end, the poor woman got dragged into their mess. All along, Courtney had thought in her head that she was so lucky to have been married to such a fantastic man. Unknown to her, he was still messing around with his ex, who, by the way, has 4 children for him. As per the judge's request, Courtney narrated how she found out about her husband's infidelity.
It's a video I found. The video is dated April 3rd, which would have been, I guess, the first day or so that she had showed up in Greensboro. All I know is I saw her demeanor when she came around, and she was kind of like high-stepping. I'm like, okay, this is a person that's supposedly supposed to be so hurt. Like, why is she grinning? And then I saw his demeanor, and he looked guilty. So I put 2 and 2 together.
Clearly, this man has successfully played these women, thinking that he can have both of them to himself. But neither Thomas nor Courtney realizes what a fool Nelson has made of them. Thomas firmly believes that Nelson will come back to her and her kids, while Courtney believes that what happened was a one-time thing. These two even start arguing over this same man who has hurt them deeply.
Comfortable from going from wifey to side chick.
No, I'm not nobody's side chick because your husband is the one that tells me he wants to leave.
But that makes you a side chick.
No,
that
it
makes you a
doesn't.
side chick. We're
No, it
legally
does not.
married.
Wait a minute.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Listen.
He told me he married you out of spite.
I did.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
Now, would you look at that? Two grown-ass women with misplaced priorities. Seeing how much this irritates me, you can imagine how annoyed Judge Lauren was after seeing these two women behave in such a shameless manner.
He's sleeping with both of y'all, okay? So, look, let's clear the air. Neither one of you are on a step higher than the other. Because you may now be his wife, but that's the mother of all his children and maybe another one. You all both look miserable. I can see the look on your face, Mr. Nelson. You decided in your mind that it's possible for you to have both of these women.
That just had to be said. It may allow Thomas, and especially Courtney, to see what Nelson is really doing to both of them. But all of this is not even over yet. As the episode continues, Nelson's deception is revealed every second. He claims that he and his wife, Courtney, have moved past his infidelity and are happy together. But is that really the truth? Let's find out.
What are you hoping for now? What do you want out of this?
I want him to leave me alone. Honest. If he's gonna make his marriage work, let your marriage work. I'll try to move forward with my life. He texts me. He calls me and tells me how much he misses me and wants to be with me. It's not the other way around. And I have messages.
Your Honor, all right.
And if he wants to be with me.
Did you bring the messages to court with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just look at that. Of course, hearing this shattered Courtney completely because she thought her husband was done with Thomas for good. But it turned out that neither of the women had learned their lesson because they broke into another heated word exchange. This time, Judge Lauren could not hold it together anymore as she blasted their heads with some profound truths.
I don't feel no way. Honestly, I don't feel no type of way.
Yes, you do.
If you're gonna make your marriage work,
Stop. There's no sense in standing here when the woman's just trying to acknowledge that both of you are in an emotional battle over a man who's taking advantage of both of you, and then you sit up and say you don't feel some kind of way.
This man has really done these women dirty. Between these two women, emotions have been flying everywhere. Words have been thrown, and yet Nelson stands between them unaffected. That should tell them a lot. Anyways, the primary purpose of the court session is to find out if Nelson is Jakai's biological father. Let's see how that goes.
Mr. Nelson, you are the father. It's number 5.
I met him and he already had, 4 kids with her. So what's one more?
I'll tell you what one more is. One more means this isn't over. This child deserves to know his father. His father's gonna have to come visit him.
Next up, we have a more complicated situation between one woman and 3 of her sexual partners. Virginia Hatcher tells the court that at the time she believes her son, Josiah, was conceived, she was having sexual relations with these 3 men: Edward Scott, Derek Blake, and James Sneed. Wow, that's a lot. But how did Hatcher get herself into such a situation?
At the time, I had sex with 3 different men around the same time my son conceived. I did have a 5.5-month fling with Mr. Scott, and I also had...
No, Your Honor, that is not true. It was just sex, period.
That's what a fling is.
Not to me, not to me.
So please, keep going, Miss Hatcher.
Interesting. Now, on Hatcher's calendar, she highlighted the days in which she had sexual intimacy with each of the men. While giving a breakdown of the sexual encounter with Sneed to the judge, Scott made a rude interjection. Take a look.
One time.
Did you use protection?
No, we did not.
How much did he pay?
Excuse me, Mr. Scott? You gonna be respectful in this courtroom.
Your Honor, this is him. He is a disrespectful man. He is very ignorant. He's all that. To me and my son. Just recently, he knows that we don't have a working refrigerator and a stove.
Hatcher now knows that she made a huge mistake being with Scott for that long. Moving on, Judge Lauren asks Scott why he is in doubt. He tells the court that he was not always in doubt, as he was present during the baby's birth and even signed the birth certificate. He also adds that he has always been providing for Josiah, a statement that Hatcher is quick to correct.
I've been buying diapers, I've been buying playpens, I've been taking care of the side, letting him come to my house on football Sundays.
Your Honor, that man is not doing... Your Honor, that man is not doing any of that, okay?
I'm not doing it anymore. Ever since I found out that I don't think he's mine, I have stopped.
He is an ignorant person.
That young man has my last name, Your Honor, and it could be not...
As you have seen, Hatcher disagreed with Scott's testimony, claiming that his narration of how he found out that Josiah may not be his is totally wrong. So, in her testimony, she explained to the court her version of how she revealed to Scott that Josiah may not be his. Watch this.
I added up the dates and everything. I thought I conceived in January. To find out I didn't conceive in January, I conceived in December. So then I was like, oh man, you know, I came to him like a woman and I said, you know what, Josiah might not be yours.
Why didn't you just win?
Josiah might not,
when?
Josiah might not be yours.
When did you do that?
Chaos. Chaos everywhere. Meanwhile, Blake, the second possible baby daddy, doubts that he is Josiah's father because what happened between him and Hatcher happened once. Again, Hatcher disagrees with the second man's testimony.
All right, so Ms. Hatcher, do you remember whether or not you two used protection when you...
Yes, I do. Well, first time we did use protection, and then the second time we didn't.
Your Honor, it wasn't no second time.
We had sex twice.
I only remember one time. I know I wasn't that drunk, Your Honor.
Now, why are you doubtful?
Great! Apart from the fact that Hatcher and Blake had a sexual encounter during her window of conception, Hatcher listed Blake as the second possibility because she sees similar physical structures between Josiah and Mr. Blake. So, now it is time to assess why Hatcher thinks that her baby daddy could also be Mr. Sneed.
You have good reason to believe that Mr. Sneed is the father. You see similarities there.
Yes, I do. In his feet.
Explain.
In his feet, he has flat feet like Mr. Sneed.
I thought he had the flat feet.
I know how this may look. The only thing I'm trying to do is just try to find out who my baby father is. I had moved from a house to having a car.
All of those remarks and accusations Hatcher made about Scott were the beginning of Judge Lauren's anger. Seeing how careless Hatcher has been, having a sexual relationship with 3 different men, and putting herself and her son in such a tight situation, I understand where the judge's ballistic reaction came from.
You slept with him without protection.
Yeah, I did.
So at this point, the insults are irrelevant. If you would listen and stop talking, you would already see.
No,
You're
ma'am.
not on trial.
No, ma'am.
You don't need to defend yourself.
No, ma'am, I have children. I have 3 kids.
Listen, you don't need to defend yourself, sir.
But the judge was not even done with these two yet. Scott and Hatcher were engaged in a heated argument of their own, which clearly pissed off Judge Lauren. Her response to their messy drama was nothing any one of them saw coming. Take a look at this.
Guys, calm down, please.
Truth be told, when this man stepped up and signed the birth certificate, then really that should have been, that's it. Because that's what babies deserve. Their mother and their father in the hospital, 2 years later, still sitting up here arguing.
That's wild.
With eeny, meeny, miny, and no.
I'm sorry.
Talking about.
Wow. Hatcher is really desperate for the result to come out, with either of the other men being Josiah's father and not Scott. It makes you wonder what kind of trauma he has put her through. Of course, Judge Lauren notices Hatcher's demeanor, and she asks her to put her emotions into words. Here is what Hatcher had to say.
You know, I'm ashamed that I'm here for this for my son, because I would have never thought I'd be a kind of woman like this. It wasn't like I was in a relationship with none of these, but I feel that I should know.
And now you've gotten yourself centered back in the place where you know this is really not about you, it's about your son.
It's not about me.
Because this courtroom is about children.
Well, I'm glad that Hatcher is willing to put her best into ensuring that Josiah has a better upbringing. Once all of this is over, little Josiah will not only have a father in his life, but also be brought up with love from both parents. Meanwhile, Scott passionately expresses his own will to do right by Josiah if the boy turns out to be his.
Then we find out who his father is, whether it is me, him, or him. I want to know, because if he's mine, I want to be with him. I got 3 kids. I would give my last for mine. I would give my last for my kids. And if that boy is mine, he gonna know he got love.
Well, that's nice, but at this point, it's time we know who Josiah's biological father is. Are you curious to know if the baby daddy is Sneed, Scott, or Blake? Then stick around and you will find out soon enough.
Mr. Sneed is not Josiah's father. Mr. Blake, you are not the father. Mr. Scott, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You happy?
Thank you. That means he has my name and I don't have to change it.
Well, I guess Hatcher is stuck with Scott. Jokes aside, this case is not about both parties but little Josiah. So, just like Judge Lauren says, more like rants, whatever issue they both have with each other should be sorted out for Josiah's sake. Don't you think so?
Listen, now you two have to help Josiah. You have to help one another and help this child. Why is it you can't be adult and I don't want to hear anything else? I want to tell you something. You all have to love Josiah more than you dislike one another.
Gabriela Lopez, a mother of 2 beautiful children, Aliana and Noah, is at the court to prove that her ex, Horacio Carbajal, is the father of her kids. All of this happened after Carbajal and his family did a homemade DNA test on the kids to find out if they were his, a test Lopez claims was fabricated. But first, Judge Lauren sought to know when the paternity doubt sets in.
You meet each other.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm trying to figure out why was there ever doubt in the first place.
Well, I met her through a social network. She told me, hey, come see me, you know, for the weekend or just one night. So I went to go see her. And that day that I went to go see her, she'd be like, we basically have sex that first night.
It was not that
yes,
first night.
It was.
No.
Yes, it
No,
was
it wasn't.
the first night. Yes,
No.
it was.
Okay, from Lopez's testimony, it is crystal clear that Carbajal did not plan to have a baby with her. Yet, they had 2. I'm confused at this point. How did they go on to create 2 babies, 1 year apart, if that's the case? Meanwhile, Carbajal is of the opinion that Lopez wants his money and deceives him into believing that he is Aliana and Noah's dad.
All she's doing this because she wants our money. She knows my
I don't
family.
care
She
about
knows,
money,
she knows my
okay?
family has money, and she knows I don't work.
I don't care about
don't
money,
work,
Your
right?
Honor. I growing up, I did not have a father, and I did not want my daughter growing up without a father.
Well,
It
that's not my
hurts me to
problem.
know that she does not have him around. He says he's the father. He even has her name tattooed on his arm. He was there.
Wait, so after he had already bonded with Aliana and was 100% certain that she was his, all it took was a picture of a random man who his sister's friend thought looked like the baby for Carbajal to start having doubts that he was Aliana's father. Unbelievable. Even Judge Lauren was taken aback upon hearing this.
Okay, so all you got is a picture on a cell phone and you go, oh, this guy looks just like my niece. I don't think my brother's the father. What other doubt do you have? Did you witness? Did you hear about her sleeping with other people?
My family was, when they were born, they didn't look nothing like us. My mom and my dad were saying
Your daughter did look
that
like you.
they had nothing related to us.
Oh, it seems like Mama Lopez has a thing or two to add to the situation at hand. Did anyone else see how fast she rose to speak when the Carbajals were attacking her daughter? Even Judge Lauren had to ask her to take a spot next to her daughter so she could also give her own testimony. But what does Mama Lopez have to say? Let's find out.
What is it that you'd like to add? They're saying they were at the hospital. You say they weren't?
They were at the hospital after they were born. I was there when Aliana was born, when she was being pulled out of my daughter. Second time around, he wasn't there either for the Noah's birth. I was there for Noah's birth. I was there for both babies.
Why could I be?
Why is it? Because you were never
Yeah, I was
around.
gonna go.
You
I was
changed your
going.
phone number.
Since all it takes to determine paternity is looking at a picture, Mama Lopez also has a point. I mean, the Carbajal sister did the same when she looked at a picture and decided that her brother wasn't Aliana's father. And it seemed like Mama Lopez was successful with her picture theory, because now Carbajal's argument is that Noah has something no one has in his family, a cleft lip.
My
Yes,
little boy, my little grandson looks just like your dad because
Yes,
there
he
are
does.
He
pictures.
doesn't. No,
There's
he doesn't.
pictures
Yes.
that we
No.
looked side by side.
Yes,
he looks
he
like
did.
your dad. You may be like complected,
So
but
why
your
was he
dad
born?
is
Why was he
dark.
born with the
looks a
cleft
lot
lip?
like that guy
Why was
that
he born with the
Your
cleft
Honor,
lip?
I
That
did
has
not-
nothing to do with genes from you
My
guys.
family does not have
Your
a
Honor.
history of cleft lip.
Oh God, nothing. This woman has said since the court session began has helped her case. And now, there is another evidence against her? I'm not surprised that she couldn't get out of this one easily. That aside, the issue of the Carbajals taking a home DNA test resurfaced as the judge wanted to know the circumstances surrounding that allegation. And I'm sure you do too.
He did a paternity test that he bought from the store. I did not know about it until he gave me the results that came back.
So you took a home, and at home,
Off the counter. We bought
DNA
it.
test.
Yes, my mom bought it off the counter. They came with swabbing things, you know?
okay, so it came with all of the utensils,
Yes,
everything
and
you
then
needed.
paperwork.
That's another round of unnecessary arguments starting over again. In a bid to move past the issue without any more drama, Judge Lauren examines the evidence of the over-the-counter DNA from Carbajal.
So here are the results of the test, but I don't see any identification, no need for a witness signature, and you say one of the names is spelled wrong?
Yes, my daughter's first name is actually spelled wrong on there.
And so, Ms. Lopez, you're saying that this test is fraudulent?
Yes, I was not there to witness it.
Well, the result turned out to be an unreliable document, and it was scrapped. At this point, what everyone actually needs is the real DNA result. It is time to find out if Carbajal is truly the baby daddy or not. Let's see for ourselves.
Mr. Carbajal, you are not her father. Okay, now we have the answers for Aliana. We still have to get Noah's.
My mom wouldn't have spent so much money on those tests to be
spend
swabbing
a lot of
other
money.
people.
We spend a
other
lot of
kids.
money to do those tests.
You guys should have still told us what you were
No, you
going
think we
to
were
do.
gonna tell you? Think you guys were gonna let us do it? No.
We would have let you do
No, you
it.
wouldn't.
I would have let you do it, yes.
This is such a sad sight. The results haven't been completely read, yet all these people could do is argue again. It was at this point that Judge Lauren lashed out at all of them for their nasty behavior.
We have the results now from a laboratory conducted DNA test, and you sitting up there still arguing about a home DNA test. Now I know you all don't have no sense. Just looking for something to argue about. You're just looking for something to say. What you need to be talking about is that lie you told saying you weren't sleeping with nobody else.
But the judge wasn't even done with her yet. I don't blame her for going all crazy of Lopez because she made the Carbajals seem like they were in the wrong when she was just a dirty liar all along.
Now put your hand down and look at me. You don't get to go into boo-hoo cry mode.
You don't even
You're
talk
learning a valuable
I got nothing to say
lesson
anymore.
right now.
They're not my kids.
Mr. Carbajal, quiet. I'm trying to talk to you because this has got to be a learning day for you. Because you can lie only for so long, honey. There's a phrase say, if it don't come out in the wash, it's coming out in the what?
Onto your seats, folks, because the Lawrence case is about to unfold with a storm of emotions that'll rattle the very foundations of family bonds. Miss Lawrence, at 28, stands shaken as she confronts a truth that could unravel her entire understanding of family.
Ms. Lauren, you claim that 6 months ago, your mother, defendant, shared a secret she'd kept from you your entire life. After 28 years believing one man was your biological father, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test to find out if the man waiting outside of our courtroom today.
The courtroom air crackles with tension as Rudolph steps in, his face a mask of disbelief and worry. He's been called upon to possibly claim a daughter he never knew existed. How will he react to the possibility that his past might have a living, breathing reminder?
What was your relationship like?
It was amazing. Wherever he would go, I would go. My dad always made sure I had money in my pocket.
I won't tell my age, but I remember trying to be fly as well.
Yeah,
so you had a good relationship.
Me and my dad had a very, I mean, we still do to this day. We have a really, really good relationship, and definitely, I mean, because he, you know.
Miss Lawrence's eyes are pools of turmoil as she recounts the day her mother dropped the bombshell. The man she grew up admiring, loving, and respecting might just be a chapter in her book of life, not the author. Can you imagine the heartache of having your whole life turned upside down?
I don't know if she told him that he was my dad, but it's to the point to where his family is like, oh, she belonged to us, and she's a Rockymore for sure. And
Miss Simmons, I need to understand from you if you really get what this 28-year secret has done to your daughter.
I also didn't have a relationship with my biological father.
As the judge calls for calm, the evidence piles up. Each piece brings forward dates, times, and possible paternal connections. Rudolph's discomfort is palpable. The courtroom's eyes pierce through him, each gaze a needle of accusation or sympathy. The suspense is almost too much to bear.
Mr. Rockmore, this is the first time you've ever laid eyes on Ms. Lauren.
Yes.
A young lady that potentially be your biological daughter.
Yes.
When you look at her today, do you feel like this could be a real possibility?
Yeah, I could see some resemblance by the eyes.
Ms. Lawrence, how do you feel right now?
I have butterflies in my stomach.
Whispers fill the room as the potential father, Mr. Roquemore, makes his presence known. His arrival sends a ripple through the court, a hopeful contender for the title of Dad. His nervous glance at Miss Lawrence speaks volumes. Is he the missing piece to this family puzzle?
Yeah, exactly. She was looking over at me, and when she looked at me, I didn't want her to see me looking, so I turned my head a little bit.
Okay.
Then she asked, was my name Rudolph? And I was like, yeah. She said, Rudolph Rockmore. I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I'm Yvette. And then she put her glasses down and looked. And I said, oh, okay. Then I remembered her and got her phone number. We exchanged numbers.
DNA results are in the air, and so is the anxiety. Miss Lawrence stands trembling. The envelope in the judge's hand holds more than just paper. It holds answers. The moment of truth is upon them, thick as the fog that clouds the future. What will it reveal? The tension is almost too much.
Mr. Rockmore, you are her father.
As the DNA results are read, a quiet falls over the room. Mr. Rocamore is confirmed as the biological father. Tears, relief, disbelief wash over Miss Lawrence's face. Decades of lies and secrets unravel before our eyes. Can you feel the emotional tide turning?
Mom, get back on your side. Oh, man.
Can you put your feelings into words and explain?
I don't even.
The court reacts with a mixture of awe and sympathy. Rudolph, the man once believed to be her father, stands aside, a figure both tragic and relieved. His life, too, has changed forever. The truth liberates, but it also binds us to new realities.
A lot of men in his situation would not step forward in this way. I know you said it's gonna take you some time, but understand that this truth has opened a door for you. Don't look at it as a closed door, because you're always gonna have the relationship you have with your daddy.
Miss Lawrence and Mr. Rocamore share a moment of fragile connection. It's a beginning, but also an end. How do they build from here? Can they mend what was broken by time and secrets? The road ahead is uncertain, but filled with potential for healing.
Take your dad's place, but I will like to be in your life.
I thank you for being the man that you are, because like she said, most men wouldn't step up and do things like this nowadays. It would just be way over their head and it would get bypassed, so thank you for that.
Hold on to your seats as we unravel the story of Ms. Case in the court, where truth clashes with the force of a hurricane. Today, Ms. Case challenges the narrative spun by decades of silence surrounding her deceased father. The air crackles with suspense. Could her real father be someone she never expected?
Miss Casey, you say that for more than 25 years, your mother has told you that a deceased man who is listed on your birth certificate is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now another man, Mr. Edwards, is claiming he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are sure Mr. Edwards is not your daughter's father?
The courtroom is buzzing as Ms. Casey stands before the judge, her voice quivering with determination. She recounts a life built on a foundation of lies, her mother's tales now crumbling under the weight of truth. How does one deal with knowing their past was just a carefully curated fiction?
Kind of rough. It was real hard on me.
Ms. Ewing, what have you told Miss Casey about Mr. Hawkins and your relationship?
I called his cousin to see did she want to spend time with LaConda, and she informed me then that he had been shot in the head by his brother and he was deceased. LaConda was 7 years old when I was told that.
Enter Mr. Otis Hawkins, a man thought to be long deceased, now very much alive and in the flesh. His appearance sends ripples of disbelief through the courtroom. The shock is palpable. Ms. Casey's face is a canvas of confusion and hope. What does his return mean for her family's legacy?
It gave me 2 addresses and 3 phone numbers. At that present time, I contacted the 3 numbers that I had for him. They was all disconnected. So at that point, me being frustrated, holding everything in from being a child, I just blew up and let it go.
If you had the opportunity to speak to him, what would you have said?
It would be like a dream come true, like what anybody would love to meet Jesus.
As Mr. Hawkins speaks, his words are slow, measured, filled with regret and years of absence. He tells a tale of love lost and secrets kept, a narrative that threatens to unravel even further. How many lives have been altered by his supposed death? The courtroom hangs on every word.
You've been told for over 25 years that Otis Hawkins, the man you believe to be your father, was dead.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's alive. Jerome, please escort Hawkins into the courtroom. You need to sit down? You okay?
We go up to the witness stand next.
Oh my God!
Mr. Hawkins recalls beautiful memories he has had with his supposed daughter and talks about them with tears in his eyes. Miss Casey is also emotional because this could be the man that is her father right in front of her.
It was pretty good at first, and it just, after some years, it just went bad. When I was overseas when LaConda was born, and that was, when I got back, she was like about maybe 2 or 3 months. And that was the only Christmas that I didn't go back to Mississippi to see my parents. I stayed in California because she was just born.
You obviously love this little girl. You carrying this picture in the frame.
But just as the audience starts to digest this revelation, another twist hits like a bolt of lightning. Mr. Hawkins is not the father. The collective gasp from the crowd mirrors Ms. Casey's own shock. How can a man presumed dead, now alive, not be the end of this mystery?
Mr. Hawkins, You are not her father.
Laconda, in my heart, you still my child. I know.
Miss Ewan, do you know who her father is?
The plot thickens further when Mr. Hawkins' brother, a quiet man who has watched the drama unfold from the back, steps forward. His presence introduces a new chapter to this tangled tale. Could he be the key that unlocks the truth of Ms. Case's paternity?
So you were sleeping with him and his brother at the same time?
No, not at the same time. He was gone. He was out to sea, and I had slept with his brother twice. And I told his brother I couldn't do this no more, and I was with him.
When Laconda was born, my brother wasn't even living in California.
Nope.
My brother was not out there.
Yes, he was.
My brother came out to California after I was out the Navy.
I can understand.
And there it is, undeniable proof. Mr. Hawkins' brother is indeed Ms. Case's biological father. The revelation hits like a tidal wave, tears flowing freely from Ms. Case as she faces the man who truly gave her life.
We're at the point now where can't be no shame in our game.
There's not.
We just have to tell it like it is.
This woman has grown up her whole life thinking it was her fault her father was shot and killed.
Off of a 7-layer lie. That's not acceptable.
It's not.
And you're her mother and you can help her right this wrong. I will be in touch with you.
Prepare for a roller coaster of emotions in the courtroom as Mr. Wheat steps forward, his eyes a window to his desperate hope. Today, he battles not just for recognition, but for a chance to be the father he believes he missed out on being to Sierra Sloan.
Mr. Wheat, you filed your case because you claim you've been robbed as a father. You are desperate to prove to the defendant that you fathered her 19-year-old daughter, Sierra Sloan, and once you do, you want to make up for lost time. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Grider, you say, as much as you would like the plaintiff to be your daughter's biological father.
As Mr. Wheat makes his heartfelt plea, Ms. Grider stands firm, her resolve as unyielding as iron. She recounts her vibrant and tumultuous youth, painting a picture of a time filled with choices and mistakes. Her adamant declaration that Mr. Wheat is not the father sends shockwaves through the courtroom.
Because I was 19, I was young, dumb, and full of eggs, and I was doing me.
Young, dumb, and full of eggs and doing me. I don't think I've ever heard it explained like that. Okay. And so, Mr. Wheat, tell me the nature of your relationship with Ms. Grider. How did you meet? How did the relationship begin? Tell the court.
The plot thickens as the former stepfather, Mr. Grider, enters the fray. His signature on the birth certificate, a bond, a promise, or perhaps a lie. The paper might as well be a character itself, whispering secrets of a life mired in complexity. Who, if anyone, is Sierra's true father?
Joining us today, Mr. Grider.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple questions for you related to Sierra's paternity.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to know first, what was your relationship with the defendant?
She is my ex-wife.
She's your ex-wife. All right. So do you think you are Sierra's, Miss Sloan's biological father?
There is a possibility.
Sierra Sloan, the eye of the storm, sits tearfully. Her life's narrative has been nothing short of a public spectacle, a heart-rending search for identity in the spotlight. Can you imagine the pain of not knowing who to call father?
And when you say you never knew,
Never.
You were always told that it was uncertain?
I've had a father figure throughout the years, and he's watched me grow up and never really knew who my dad was.
Oh, okay. So can you tell the court, what did your mom tell you?
Well, I think when I was 15, my mom said that I look like David because apparently me and him have the freckle line.
Drama unfolds like a curtain rising on the darkest play. The judge calls for the DNA results, the moment of truth everyone has been holding their breath for. Mr. Wheat's hands tremble, Sierra's eyes are wide with fear, and Ms. Grider braces herself. The air is thick with anticipation, each second stretching endlessly.
Take me back to the moment you found out you were pregnant.
I confronted Mac and David and told all of them, all four of them.
You told them all?
Yes.
Listen, I'm pregnant and
you could possibly be the father. Yes, I've told all four of them.
All right, so in the beginning
The silence breaks with the reading of the results. First, Mr. Grider, not the father. A collective gasp fills the room, a sound of mixed relief and dismay. But the roller coaster isn't over. Mr. Wheat's hopes hang by a thread, the last strand of his dream of fatherhood.
Get to know who you really are, so you can get to know who I really am.
How does it feel to hear that, Sierra? That he wants to get to know you and have a relationship with you and be a dad to you?
It feels good, but I'm just trying to figure it out. If he is my dad, it's just a lot to deal with.
And then the final blow. Mr. Wheat also is not the father. The words crash down like thunder, shattering the quiet hope that had built throughout the proceedings. Sierra bursts into tears, a soul-crushing moment of raw emotion pouring out for the world to see.
Mr. Grider, you are not the father.
The courtroom is steeped in a heavy silence, the weight of broken hearts palpable in the air. Mr. Wheat stands defeated, his dream of fatherhood dashed against the stark rocks of reality. How does one move forward from such profound disappointment?
Mr. Wheat, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Sierra.
Ms. Grider reaches out to Sierra, a gesture of comfort in the storm. Their bond, complicated and strained by the secrets and lies, now faces the ultimate test. Can forgiveness and love rebuild the bridges burned by doubt and uncertainty?
Mr. Wheat, are you all right? Ms. Grider, I need to ask you, because your daughter is standing here trying to be as strong as possible, and this was devastating news for her, I know.
It's devastating for me.
Yes.
And her.
Prepare for a courtroom whirlwind as Ms. Andrews faces a life-altering revelation in the Andrews case. Brace yourselves for a storm of emotions as Mr. Glenn makes a sudden and startling entrance, claiming to be the biological father of Ms. Andrews. This declaration sends shockwaves through the courtroom.
Ms. Andrews, you claim that while at a restaurant recently, you were shocked when Mr. Glenn approached you out of the blue. Now, you say he then dropped the bomb that he believes he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Glenn, you confess you kept a 30-year secret because a good family raised Ms. Andrews and you didn't want to interfere with her.
Ms. Andrews stands at the epicenter of confusion, her world rocked by Mr. Glenn's unexpected claim. Having mourned the man she always believed was her father, this new assertion unravels years of memories and family bonds. The sting of betrayal begins to seep through.
You were in a relationship with Ms. Andrews' mother.
Right.
You left town.
I left town.
By the time you come back, she had a baby.
Right.
But she never came and told you
that she was pregnant. I asked her about the child, why she didn't tell me.
With every word Mr. Glenn speaks, the foundation of Ms. Andrews' identity seems to crumble. He recounts stories of the past, moments they shared unknowingly, bringing with him proof that time has kept hidden. Can Ms. Andrews accept this new chapter of her life story?
I'm looking at the family that I grew up with, like, okay, somebody has some answers. Mr. Glenn, it put me in depression. Well, it does. You wait till he died. You wait till our mother passed away. You're only your word.
And the DNA.
You could have did DNA when I was young.
As Mr. Glenn's presence disrupts the courtroom's calm, the DNA test looms like a beacon of ultimate truth. Ms. Andrews, torn between the man who raised her and the man claiming her paternity, faces an agonizing weight.
Ms. Gates, do you believe Mr. Glenn is Ms. Andrews' father?
No, I do not. Donna and Yolanda are 11 months apart. Okay, keep in mind my mother had to get pregnant again to have my baby sister.
Father of your younger sister, why not just say I'm also the father of...
The judge calls for the DNA results, a moment fraught with anxiety. The courtroom holds its breath, the silence punctuated only by the sound of the envelope tearing open. As the results are read aloud, the truth shatters the fragile peace. Mr. Glenn is indeed her biological father.
Mr. Glenn, you are her father.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh my God.
A wave of emotion crashes over Ms. Andrews as she processes the news. The man she mourned, loved, and respected is not her father by blood. Tears of confusion and grief mingle as she faces Mr. Glenn, the new bearer of the title Dad. How does one reconcile such a monumental shift in life's narrative?
No, God, no. Oh my God.
You could have said something before this girl got raised by a totally different family. You could have said something before now.
Listen,
you had years to say this.
Family rifts begin to emerge as the courtroom absorbs this bombshell. Sides are taken, whispers fill the air, and the fabric of what was once a united family begins to tear. Disbelief and anger bubble to the surface. Is blood really thicker than the water of the womb?
How dare you do this to me?
Truth is what it is.
Miss Andrews, it's gonna be difficult to accept. You look, today's the day. I wanna know.
Amid the turmoil, Mr. Glenn attempts to bridge the gulf of years lost, reaching out to Ms. Andrews. His eyes, filled with regret and hope, seek forgiveness and a chance to build anew. Can a bond be forged from the ashes of this upheaval, or is the past too great a barrier?
Has counseling resources for you in your home state that can help you process this, and I wish you all the very best of luck.
You come up here and sit in the chair in the way.
Come here. Let me apologize to you, okay, for giving you a hard time all those years. I want to say you're sorry.
Ms. Andrews' response is one of poignant restraint. Her heart, though shattered by the revelations, shows the stirrings of curiosity about the man who is her true father. The journey of healing and understanding is fraught with resistance, but also a glimmer of potential connection.
There's gonna be one. There's gonna be one. Because let me tell you something. You've got 3 beautiful children. Have a man that they could have as a grandfather figure. I believe in you, and your children are counting on you, okay? Give me a hug. You can do this. You can do this.
Today we have a 19-year-old woman named Celeste who's trying to prove that the defendant, David Hayslip, is her real father. Celeste grew up believing David was her dad, but he's been absent for most of her life. Now she wants answers and is hoping the DNA test will finally give her the closure she needs.
You are seeking a DNA test to prove that Mr. Hayslip, the defendant, is your biological father. You've believed he is your biological father for many years, yet you say he has never allowed you into his life. You acknowledge that your mother may have had sexual relations with multiple men at the time of your conception, but you claim you were always told that Mr. Hayslip was your father. You've brought your aunt along here today for moral support.
Turns out, David had no idea Celeste even existed until the cops pulled him over and told him he owed child support. Can you imagine? Just minding your own business, driving down the road, and then bam, you're suddenly a dad. David claims the timeline doesn't add up, saying he only knew Celeste's mom for a month, but Celeste was born a couple months later.
You are also asking Ms. Hayslip to change her last name so that she no longer has yours after today's test results are revealed.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Hayslip, when did you first hear that Ms. Hayslip is potentially your daughter?
I had moved from southern Michigan to northern Michigan. I was on my way back, about a 200-mile trip to southern Michigan. I was pulled over for speeding.
But Celeste's aunt, Susie, has a different story. She says she's been trying to get David to acknowledge Celeste for years, even bringing her to a family gathering once, but he refused to accept her. Ouch, that's gotta sting. Susie's convinced Celeste is David's daughter, and she's here to support her niece in finding out the truth, once and for all.
The timeline's off, you know, there's no way. It's off by at least 2 months. I had only seen her mother for maybe a month.
And you submitted those dates to the court in the form of a calendar of sorts. So, according to this calendar, you were intimate with Ms. Hayslip's mother in October and November.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, David's daughter, Courtney, takes the stand, and she's not exactly thrilled about the idea of having a long-lost sister. She's worried Celeste might be a bad influence on her other siblings, since Courtney's had a few run-ins with the law herself. Yikes, talk about family drama. It's clear there's a lot of tension and mistrust going on here.
I kept asking her and asking her and asking her to let me know Celeste, get to know her. She denied me. She wouldn't let me get to know her.
Really?
Yes. And then finally, after several months, she finally set it up to where that I could meet Celeste. My first impression of her, I thought she looked a lot like me when I was little. And we had a bond that we had connected, and then we started getting close, and then her mother...
The judge tries to calm the situation, reminding everyone that none of us are perfect, and it's never too late for a fresh start. She encourages David to open his heart and get to know Celeste, his potential daughter, but David's still hesitant, saying he doesn't even want Celeste to have his last name if she turns out to be his kid. Ouch, that's a pretty harsh stance.
You kept it from how long?
Till she met her.
I told him the truth.
Till, yeah.
So there was no time in between where you mentioned,
to my children?
this, yes,
No.
to your this could possibly be an issue.
No.
And then you found out this girl that's in my class could be my sister.
Yeah.
Wow.
The moment of truth has arrived, and the judge reads the results. Drum roll, please.
Mr. Hayslip, you are her father. Well, at least now we know your money spent was not in. And you have a beautiful young lady over here that the name she carries is in fact her rightful name.
That has changed my mind.
We've got an 11-year relationship on the rocks, a wedding that got called off, and some serious doubts about the paternity of a 7-month-old baby. Let's dive in and see what went down.
Ms. Greenhouse, you summoned Mr. Thompson to court for a DNA test for your 7-month-old son, G.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim he has neglected his responsibilities as a father since you called off the wedding last month.
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you are also suing Mr. Thompson for $750, the amount of the down payment you put on a vehicle for him.
Yes, Your Honor.
The drama starts when Kristen Greenhouse drags her ex, Gregory Thompson, into court, demanding a DNA test for their son, G. Kristen claims Gregory has been neglecting his responsibilities as a father ever since she called off their wedding a month ago, but Gregory isn't having it.
After 11 years, you just figured that out?
No, it's like, no, we were together for 11 years off and on, but I had my 4-year-old son, right? I went off to college. Right after I had my 4-year-old son, I got pregnant and we tried to make it work there. In between the 4 years that after my son was born, we tried off and on and it still hasn't worked out and I just finally got tired of it. Every time I turn around is you messing with this person, you're sleeping with this person, but Greg dropped me off at work everywhere I go. He has my phone, he dropped me off and picked me up.
Things really start to heat up when Gregory's mom, Susan, also questions the paternity of G. She says the baby doesn't even look like her son, and she's got some serious doubts. Kristen tries to explain their 11-year on and off relationship, but Gregory's not having it. He claims Kristen was always accusing him of cheating, and that's what led to their constant breakups.
She was still having sex with multiple partners.
That's a lie. You asked me who did I have sex. It was never multiple partners.
It's not a lie.
Come at me like,
it's not a lie. What I do?
2 weeks
What
prior,
I do?
Then we had sex. I had sex with somebody else.
What I do? I went through your phone. I went through your Facebook.
2 weeks prior.
It ain't no 2 weeks.
She testified 2 weeks before, and you're questioning that time frame? If so, how?
Like I said, around that time, we wasn't together. We was seeing each other a little cordially here and there, but not really.
The back and forth between these two is intense. Kristen says she stuck with Gregory for all those years because she loved him, but Gregory argues that she only stayed because of their older son, SJ. He insists he was the one trying to hold the family together, not Kristen.
8 out of the 11, every time I brought this back together. And she used to say it then, you only with me, or you only try to keep this together because of SJ, which is my first boy. And
that's a lie. That's a lie.
Man, look at here. Like I said,
we was only together because of SJ.
This is what you told me multiple times. You don't really want to be with me, Greg. You only with me because of SJ.
I told you that.
Kristen brings in her sister Chante as a witness, and she testifies that she heard Gregory refuse a DNA test when G was born. But Gregory denies this, saying he never turned down a test. The judge is clearly getting frustrated with all the he said, she said.
These are the main ones who helped you draw your relationship to the ground.
What do they got to do with it? You keep living in the past.
I'm not living in
You are.
I'm moving on, baby. I'm trying to figure out if G is mine.
Greg, and so you say her family has interfered. How?
When we in the dirt and we struggling, we come up on a little here and there.
Things really start to boil over when Gregory brings up the fact that Kristen has helped her family out financially over the years, but he claims she never does the same for him. Kristen fires back, saying she's the one who's always helping Gregory and his family when they're struggling. The judge has to step in and shut them both up before it gets out of hand.
Around that time, like I said, she was talking to multiple guys, and she's admitted. And then, like I said, from jump, not
Before
to go
we had
back,
this,
she
like
said,
I told you, I
she
had
said a week.
For somebody else.
Everything
2
hit
weeks.
the fan.
2 weeks.
It was a wrap.
No, 2 weeks.
What do you mean? When you say when everything hit the fan, it was a wrap?
When we start breaking up or problems start.
The judge tries to get the focus back on the paternity issue, but Gregory just can't let go of his suspicions. He tells the court that his older son, SJ, has even said that Gregory isn't his real dad. The judge is clearly exasperated, telling Gregory to be more respectful to the women in his life.
This is not the first time it came up when she contacted you.
Your Honor,
he
this
said
is not the first time.
I said something in the hospital.
Mr. Thompson,
when we was living together.
did you help choose the name?
I did it. Yeah, I chose the name.
And you were at the hospital when G was born?
I've been with her the whole time she was pregnant.
And you signed the birth certificate?
Yes.
Finally, the moment of truth arrives. The DNA test results are in, and the judge is ready to reveal whether Gregory is really G's father.
Mr. Thompson, you are the father. You are the father.
I feel more relief.
For what? And you knew this
no, I
jump.
didn't.
You knew this from jump.
You knew I had doubts from jump.
Everyone's entitled to their beliefs or doubt, but my whole thing is like, don't doubt my son when I break up with you because you're disrespectful.
Miss Reed claims the father of her 3-month-old son, Keandre, is Miss Campbell's deceased son, but Miss Campbell is not having it. She says she's never even heard of Miss Reed before her son's tragic death. This is gonna be a wild ride, folks.
Ms. Reed, you say the father of your 3-month-old son, Keandre, was tragically murdered early this year. You claim his mother, Miss Campbell, is the biological grandmother, and you are here to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Reed explains that family means everything to her, since she never got to meet her own dad. She's desperate to prove Miss Campbell is Keandre's grandma, but Miss Campbell is worried about getting too attached in case the DNA doesn't match up. Yikes, the tension is already through the roof. You can tell these two ladies have been through a lot.
I understand.
Ms. Campbell, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
All of you. And I know this is very difficult. You say you're being cautious.
Yes.
Can you tell the court why you feel that way?
I love all babies, don't get me wrong. But if it's a baby that belongs to me.
Miss Reed says she and Keandre's dad, Kendrick, were friends with benefits for 8 years. Whoa, that's a long time. But Miss Campbell swears Kendrick never mentioned Miss Reed or a baby on the way. This is getting messy, folks. No wonder Miss Campbell is so cautious. She's scared of losing another piece of her son.
Well, we have to have such difficult testimony right now, but we're just trying to understand this as it relates to the paternity matter. I need to ask you, Miss Reed has testified that she was a friend with benefit. Did your son ever mention a friend?
No, Your Honor.
In Miss Reed?
No, Your Honor. I knew nothing about her up until...
Turns out Kendrick and Miss Campbell were super close. She says he always kept her in the loop about what was going on in his life. So it's really strange that he never told her about having a baby on the way with Miss Reed. Miss Campbell is clearly heartbroken over losing her son, and she doesn't want to risk getting hurt again.
Sounds like you were very close.
Yeah, we had a real close relationship. Because I always used to tell Kendrick, I don't care what you do, what nobody say about you. You keep your head up. And you always call me, let me know what's going on with you, because I never know what's going on with you. And I tell all of them, I want to keep up with all y'all, because see, I stayed in Troy.
Miss Reed reveals she and Kendrick only found out she was pregnant the day after he passed away. Whoa, that's some crazy timing. No wonder Miss Campbell is so skeptical. If Kendrick was so open with her, why didn't he mention this huge life event?
And you agreed to the DNA test because you did want to know.
Exactly.
Did you participate in the birth? Were you there?
No, I didn't know anything about when she had the baby. I didn't know. Only time I found out when she had the baby, when she contacted me in July.
Uh-oh, things are starting to get heated. Miss Reed apologizes for not including Miss Campbell in the birth or updates about the baby. She says she was so out of it from the meds that Kendrick's brother DeQuandre was the first person she called. But Miss Campbell is clearly hurt that she wasn't involved. This is getting tense, y'all.
But I'm sorry that I'm sorry. I'm truly am sorry that I did not contact you to for the birth or anything like that.
Yeah, because I felt like if he is my grandson, I should have been there. I should have been the first one to be called.
That's why I say I'm sorry. I did not know. I'm sorry. I'm truly is. From the bottom of my heart, I am really sorry.
DeQuandre takes the stand and says he believes Keandre is his brother's son, even though Miss Reed and Kendrick weren't exclusive. He thinks Miss Reed has been through too much to be lying about this. But the judge points out there's still a lot of mistrust between these two women. This is one complicated situation.
Anybody else during that time?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
DeQuandre, you may have a seat. Miss Campbell, you've met Keandre, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen the baby. When was the first time you saw him?
The first time I saw Keandre was in the court where we was going to try to do a DNA. And she didn't ask me, I would thought she would have asked me, could I hold him?
When Miss Campbell finally gets to see Keandre in court, she's upset that Miss Reed didn't let her hold him or really get to know him. You can tell she's desperate to be a part of her grandson's life. The judge even calls it odd that Miss Reed didn't include her more. Oof, the shade.
I understand, Your Honor, but it was kind of cool in the courtroom where we was at. And Keandre had on a onesie, and he wasn't nothing but 2 months at the time, and by it being cold, and then plus at the same time Keandre was asleep.
I understand where you're coming from, but given the circumstances.
All right, it's moment of truth time. The DNA results are in, and the judge is about to reveal whether Keandre is truly Miss Campbell's grandson. You can cut the tension with a knife, folks. Everyone is on the edge of their seats waiting to hear the verdict.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness is 99% you are related.
Oh, can I give you a
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. I needed that.
Whoa, this is gonna be a wild one, folks. We've got a high school jock who's being accused of fathering a 4-year-old daughter. The plaintiff, Miss Smith, is 100% sure this guy is the dad, but he's denying it big time.
Miss Smith, you open your case today because you say a high school romance with the defendant led to the birth of your 4-year-old daughter, Adriana. You testify that you are 100% certain he fathered your child, and once proven today, you want him to step up as he does with his other kids. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's break this down. Miss Smith says she hooked up with the defendant, Mr. Womack, back in high school. He was the big shot athlete, and she was just a regular freshman trying to fit in. Apparently, they started talking on social media, and then got it on a few times. No fancy dates, just straight to the, you know.
I have your baby, and I just accept it. I can't do it.
So you got a text. This is the text. Miss Smith says, you know I had your baby, and you write back, when was this? And then Miss Smith says, 2015. And Mr. Womack says, and why you think it's mine?
Fast forward a few years and Miss Smith is convinced Mr. Womack is the father of her 4-year-old daughter, Adriana. But he's not having it, saying there's no way he's the dad after all this time.
I am 100% sure that Mr. Womack here is my daughter's father. And I want him to step up and be a father to my daughter. And because, you know, my daughter is 4 and, you know, she don't have a father figure. And when she see Mr. Womack, she wants to be with her daddy.
Oh, and get this. Miss Smith says she didn't even tell Mr. Womack about the pregnancy at first. She thought her ex was the dad, so she kept him in the loop instead. But then a DNA test proved her ex wasn't the father, so she finally reached out to Mr. Womack, and he was not happy about it.
Oh, that's how it starts?
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't even go to dinner or nothing? You just go in the DM?
Yes, ma'am.
That's just nasty. So we just go in the DMs. I mean, y'all got it way too easy, Jerome.
Right.
You don't even have to take nobody to dinner anymore.
You know how much money I spent?
And all you needed was the DM.
It was DM.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Mr. Womack is claiming Miss Smith was sleeping around with his family members during that time. He's saying she was the go-to girl for him and his buddies. Whoa! Talk about a messy situation.
All right, take me to that day. What happened?
My mother felt that I wasn't, feeling well. I was supposed to go to church that Sunday. We didn't go to church. Found out I was pregnant November 23rd. I didn't, tell Mr. Womack.
Miss Smith admits she was, messing around with guys to try and fit in when she was the new girl in town, getting bullied and all. Yikes, this poor girl was just trying to find her place, and it sounds like she ended up getting taken advantage of. That's gotta be tough to relive.
You thought Mr. Womack couldn't be the father because he didn't ever really finish the act.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you wrote him off?
Yes, Your Honor.
So how did you come to realize that that is not the case?
Child support had did a DNA test, and the DNA test has said that he wasn't the father.
Hey, at least she's being honest about it now, right? The judge seems to appreciate her coming clean, even if the details are pretty ugly. And you can tell she really wants Adriana to have a dad in her life. She's saying her daughter gets excited just seeing Mr. Womack's Facebook pictures, so you know she's desperate for him to step up.
In her life, when I can be her father, if it's a possibility she's mine. But after talking to my family, after 3 years, and you just now telling me, I can't do it, but we can find out.
Looks like things are about to get tense in the courtroom. Mr. Womack's cousin is stepping up to the podium, and he's not holding back. He's calling Miss Smith the go-to girl for him and his buddies, saying she was sleeping around with all of them. What a bombshell.
Mr. Womack had told me, he said, you could have slept with one of my cousins, and that's why the baby looked like him. I said, well, how does that happen? Oh, don't worry about that. I said, well, which cousin you think my daughter looked like? It's pretty much that he just didn't
Well, you should know who it would be. What is this?
I have another cousin here who I tell.
But through all the drama, you can see Miss Smith is really hurting. She's admitting that she just wanted to fit in and feel special, even if it meant giving herself away to all these guys. And the judge, bless her heart, is trying to comfort her. She's saying, I'd rather you just tell the ugly truth than try to make up a pretty lie. Gotta respect that.
Were you that girl, Miss Smith?
I mean, yes, Your Honor. I'm not gonna lie about it. I was, because I figured I'm trying to fit in. So I I was, messing around with, guys because I wanted to fit in. Because, everybody would, bully me or whatever. So it was just to the point that I thought just doing that then, but I know I was doing it the wrong way to fit in.
All right, folks, now we're getting to the big moment. The DNA results are in. It's time to reveal the truth.
Mr. Womack, you are the father.
Just feel bad because I should have been there. I'm ready to be her father, Your Honor. She deserves it.
Yes, she does. I believe you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do and be there for this little girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Smith, you had to come clean on some very ugly truths.
Miss Wolf claims her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Shelton, is the father of her twins, Luke and Levi, but Mr. Shelton wasn't having it. He said Miss Wolf was a total party animal who disappeared on him. The judge had to get to the bottom of this messy situation.
Ms. Wolf, you say that your month-long relationship with Mr. Shelton left you with beautiful twins who he is now denying for dubious reasons. You intend to prove Mr. Shelton fathered both boys, Luke and Levi. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Turns out Miss Wolf and Mr. Shelton only dated for a month, but she got pregnant during that time. She said the twins looked just like him, and his friends even told her they resembled him. But Mr. Shelton wasn't convinced. He said Miss Wolf was always disappearing and was super untrustworthy.
We were together for a month and messed around a lot, and she just was never there really. And then she just disappeared one day.
Disappeared? Okay. So take me back. I want to understand the nature of this relationship. How did you even meet?
We met on POF. It was it's an internet dating site. We started talking for a little while, and then we just started hitting it off.
Miss Wolf admitted she did ghost Mr. Shelton after a month of dating. She said she was partying a lot back then and wanted a fresh start for her kids. But then she found out she was pregnant, and that's when she started thinking Mr. Shelton could be the dad. The judge was surprised Miss Wolf just disappeared on him like that. Mr. Shelton seemed pretty hurt that he missed out on the twins' lives.
Yes, and like he said, it was really good. We hit it off. We were going to church together. I thought we were both turning our lives around, doing good. But it wasn't that way. There was trust issues. There was other issues that I didn't want to deal with him, and so I ghosted him, I guess you could say.
So you did?
Yes.
You ghosted him?
Yes.
And how soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
I didn't find out I was pregnant until May.
Things got even more complicated when Miss Wolf revealed she was living with another guy, Ralph, when she found out she was pregnant. She said Ralph was basically going to be there for the twins, even though she wasn't sure if he was the dad. The judge was a little confused. It sounded like Miss Wolf had a lot of guys in her life around that time.
Well, black people come in all colors, all sizes.
But not blonde hair,
Oh no, black people have blonde hair and blue eyes. That's why I turned around and looked and said, well, let's really see, because there are plenty of black people that have blonde hair and blue eyes. All right, so Mr. Shelton, how did you find out about the pregnancy?
Mr. Shelton said he only met the twins once, when Miss Wolf randomly messaged him and he went to her place. He said he could tell one of the twins looked just like him, but Miss Wolf only suggested one of them might be his. The judge was surprised Mr. Shelton hadn't been more involved, even if he wasn't sure about the paternity.
Obviously, Mr. Shelton wasn't there.
No, he was not.
Who was?
Ralph was there with me, but he's my current boyfriend.
And Ralph
he didn't
is Mr.
know,
Duquois.
of course, he couldn't be there, yes.
So, Mr. Duquois participated in the baby's birth?
Yes, he did.
And she also told me that the Ralph could possibly be one of the fathers also.
Oh, she did?
Later on, yes, later on, Your Honor.
Then the judge called in Miss Wolf's current boyfriend, Ralph, to testify. Ralph said he and Miss Wolf had been together since the twins were born, and he joked around that they might be his kids. But Miss Wolf shut that down, saying she never told Ralph he was the dad. The judge could tell this was a messy situation with a lot of mixed signals.
So, Mr. Shelton, I want to ask you, when was the first time you met the twins and you saw them?
After the last time I saw her when she was pregnant, later on, about another 9 months to a year or whatever, she messaged me on Facebook, Your Honor, and she asked how I was doing, and she came over and we were hanging out, and she said one of the boys could be mine.
This case was a roller coaster from the very start, so naturally, it was headed for one hell of a conclusion. That's why when the DNA results came in, everyone was strapped in and expecting a real shocker.
Mr. Duquois, you are not the father. So, Mr. Shelton, now that I've read the results from Mr. Duquois, and he is not the biological father of either twin, Jerome, let's have the envelopes for Mr. Shelton. Mr. Shelton, you are not the father.
Surprising to me, Your Honor.
Imagine planning a pregnancy together and now your partner wants nothing to do with you. Ms. Foster is 100% certain that Mr. Jackson is the father of her little girl, Jakaya. She explained something to the court. Apparently they had planned the pregnancy together, and now Mr. Jackson acts like he wants nothing to do with them.
He just gives me nothing.
She don't even post the baby on social media.
So you admit you haven't been stepping up. I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about real parenting.
I can't say I admitted to anything because I always say I'll do this and I'll do that.
How did this relationship even start?
Ma'am, Your Honor, this relationship started through social media. We found each other through Facebook.
Social media, I should have known.
On the other hand, Mr. Jackson strongly denies these accusations. You can just hear his voice mixed with so much disbelief and defiance. He insists that there was never any agreement to have a child. He adamantly declares that he is not Jakaya's father.
Ms. Foster cheated on you multiple times during your relationship, and there is no way you are Jakaya's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Foster, tell us, why do you need to open your case?
I'm opening this case today because, Your Honor, I have a 1-year-old child who we plan on having. She looks like him.
Beautiful.
She acts like him. He doesn't step up to nothing. I mean, he's posted pictures on social media.
It's so heartbreaking, really. I mean, if you're showcasing your children on social media, you can at least fulfill your responsibilities towards them. Ms. Foster adds that she met Mr. Jackson through social media. Turns out she had her first child before their encounter. However, she's taken aback as she explains to the court how Mr. Jackson introduced her child to his mother as his own. Oh my, what a guy.
To his mother's house, but he was claiming my first child knowing she wasn't his baby, but then when we planned a baby, he doesn't deny this child at all.
Wait. I want to understand this. So this first baby was not his biological child.
Correct.
But he took you home to his mother like, look at my girlfriend and our baby.
Correct.
Ms. Foster continues. She claims that Mr. Jackson always told her something. She says that he kept saying how much he wanted her to be the mother of his child, proclaiming her as the best mother in the world. What a guy. However, Mr. Jackson strongly denies this accusation and insists that he never made such statements. Now there's so much tension in court. Mr. Jackson, however, still has so much more to say.
Because I'm the best mother in the world. That's why he said it.
Actually.
Facts.
No.
Facts, Your Honor.
No.
I am the best mother in the world. If he can't say anything,
having
he
sex
hasn't
on
even
it
stepped
and
up
all.
to be even a
But
stepdad.
the man that she had dropping her off at my house, claiming was her brother, was the dude she was sleeping with.
Correct, Your Honor. It definitely was.
Basically what the story was, she already came to my house pregnant.
Ms. Foster reveals that there has been a lot of deceit in this case. She tells the court that while she was living at Mr. Jackson's house, he was simultaneously dating another woman, effectively two-timing both of them, adding to the complexity. Ms. Foster discloses that it was only after Mr. Jackson left her at his mother's house that she discovered she was pregnant with her second child. Oops. Now, what's going to happen next?
And have us in a polygamous relationship, which he don't got it like that.
Actually, I wasn't playing house.
Actually, he was.
Then, at some point, you find out you're pregnant again.
Yes, Your Honor, after he left out of town again.
So what happened?
I was talking in a relationship with him, and when I found out he was in a relationship with the other female, I went to go continue doing me with the Marquise gentleman.
It gets funny as Ms. Foster's narrative takes an unexpected turn. She admits to deceiving Mr. Jackson by claiming to have a brother who wasn't actually her brother, all while she was romantically involved with him. Everyone in the courtroom is stunned. What a woman! To think that she says she felt betrayed by her husband while she kept lying about some fake sibling she doesn't have.
I was sleeping with both guys, and I mean, you had 2 girlfriends, well, I can't have 2 boyfriends.
I called.
Oh, and you said it's my brother.
Sure did. Yes, Your Honor.
Right, which I used to call him my friend, but
well,
first they denying it, I'm like, you know what I'm saying, kick him out.
Wait, so you think you in a relationship, but she's sleeping with your friend?
Yes,
no, Your Honor.
She tries to justify her actions with defiance because she was hurt by her husband's infidelity. Things are not looking good for you, Ms. Foster. To add to the drama, the person Ms. Foster was involved with became Mr. Jackson's friend. This further complicates an already messy situation.
We were not together.
But you still in my mama's house when I left, though, you feel me?
That's pointless. I mean, that matters nothing to me.
I mean,
you left to go be with somebody else. Me and my baby stayed. That's just what it was.
So, Ms. Foster, I want you to take me to the day you found out you were pregnant.
I fell to the floor. I did 3 rolls around the floor in the doctor's office.
Ms. Foster goes on to share how the revelation of her pregnancy made her really sad. With Mr. Jackson out of her life and the father of her first child absent, she was back here again all by herself. Not only that, she was also facing an unexpected and unwanted pregnancy. She needed clarity. In a desperate attempt to find it amidst the chaos, she initially considered both Mr. Jackson and the other man as potential fathers. But as time passed, she became convinced that Mr. Jackson was the father.
Miss Foster, I do have to ask you this.
Okay.
If you know you're sleeping with two guys, why are you just bringing Mr. Jackson to court?
I went to the doctor's office. They gave me the conception calendar. I got pregnant February 21st. That's the same day you left. So that week and that week before, I had a menstrual period. We're sleeping together the entire time.
Oops. Now it feels like everyone is holding their breath. All the pieces of Ms. Foster's story are finally falling into place. With all of her certainty, it seems as though Mr. Jackson just may be the father. Maybe, just maybe, all of this would end just as Ms. Foster expects it to.
You're not shooting blanks, you shooting.
I'm not the only one that's shooting, huh?
Okay, my conception day said February 21st is when you were fertilized. You were still there.
But didn't you also admit you were having sex with both guys? Because if he could have two girlfriends, you could have two boyfriends?
By me going to medical school, I kind of know what I'm talking about as far as the female reproductive system.
I wish you would have known so much about what you was talking about that you would have known who your child's father was.
Ms. Foster is sticking to her word on this one. She's adamant that during the time when her baby could have been conceived, she didn't sleep with anyone except Mr. Jackson. That's her one rock-solid reason for being so sure he's the dad. Interesting logic. Now, it's time to see if her confidence holds up against the DNA test results. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Mr. Jackson, you are not the father. What's funny?
I heard that. It was kind of like, ooh, that's why I laughed.
You took us to school, let me take you there. You just performing now. Like I said, you want your baby to be a stage show? That's on you. Keep performing. But if you're gonna be a mother...
Well, isn't that something? Ms. Foster went from being the expert on the reproductive system to simply laughing at the whole crazy situation. What an unremorseful, unmoved woman. It's pretty hilarious, to be honest. Poor woman's probably thinking, how did I end up here?
Look at me when I'm talking to you, Miss Foster. That's okay to do. Nobody lives a perfect life, and you have been through a lot. And that's why I'm spending this much time with you. You need a woman in your life to say to you, you are worth. There's not an experience you've been through. There is not a feeling of an abandonment or less than anything in this world any less worth it. Limitless possibilities for your life.
Ms. Brown is in court today for business. She's here to prove that Mr. Rutledge is the father of her one-year-old child. She adds that her daughter's future is all that matters to her in the end, so it seems like she does not care about any sort of drama. Mr. Rutledge, on the other hand, has only seen baby Sanaya once in his life. Ms. Brown was asked why she's so sure about the paternity of her one-year-old baby. Here is what she had to say.
So, Ms. Brown, why are you so sure Mr. Rutledge is your daughter's father?
Yes, Your Honor. Me and Mr. Rutledge, we had sexual relations and things like that. And my doctor told me that I conceived May 25th, which was Memorial Day, which I was over there at his mother's house. She left to go to a cookout and everything, and me and him, had sexual relationship on that day.
Mr. Rutledge started by saying that Ms. Brown was not telling the entire truth. Apparently, Mr. Rutledge and Ms. Brown were never in an actual relationship. All that ever happened between them was casual sex once in a while. When they met, she was dating his cousin. Then, they broke up and she went on to have a one-night stand with his other cousin. Like that was not wild enough, she went on to date his brother right after too. Talk about keeping it in the family.
Let me tell you this, when she got with my brother, she ran the same story on my brother and told my brother that she was pregnant by him. She tells my brother that, oh, I need you to give me money for a morning after pill.
Ms. Brown, you left these facts out.
Yes, I left them out, Your Honor, because they're not fact. First of all, you don't have to pay for a morning after pill because everyone knows that a morning after pill is free whether you have insurance or not.
Ms. Brown claims that Mr. Rutledge is framing her unnecessarily as a bad person. Her argument went like this. If she was around his family so often, with all these people he mentioned, why did he still get with her regardless? If she were such a horrible person like he says, how come he knew this and still went on to be so intimate with her? It makes no sense. Looks like Ms. Brown wins this round, Mr. Rutledge.
And he claims that we were just friends and it was never that serious, it was just sexual relations. If it was just sexual relationships, why were your clothes at my house? He was always at my house until he went missing for like 4 days, and I didn't know where he was at because usually he would at least text me or call call me even if he didn't come over. And like out of nowhere, like for 4 days straight, I didn't hear from him or anything.
After she went on to question him, she found out the most interesting thing. She believed they were dating, but as it would turn out, she was the only one in the relationship. Mr. Rutledge was still with the mother of his child. After further questioning, Ms. Brown finds out that he is 31 years old, whereas she is just 22, and she had no clue.
Mr. Rutledge, you've now heard that part of the story. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
How did I guess? So in your estimation, this was just a casual sexual relationship.
And that's all it was. That's all she good for.
Your Honor, Your Honor,
let's be respectful, Mr. Rutledge.
Yeah, I'm
Your
sorry,
Honor, can I just say this? He said that that's all I'm.
Whoa! That right there was a violation. Ms. Brown admits that there were certain occasions while she was younger where she was out partying, drinking, and looking for love in the worst of places. She assures the court that it's all in the past, and she's no longer about that life. What a low blow on Mr. Rutledge's part bringing that up like that.
When I had the baby, she was there like every day while I was in hospital. She was there. She sent her mother pictures, and I guess she sent Mr. Rutledge pictures, and he called, and he told her that he hopes my baby die, and that he don't want my baby around other children. And that's something that came out of her mouth.
That
now
is
she want to
incorrect.
stand here and try to act like she the
That
best
is
sister in the world.
incorrect, Your Honor.
But everything that I know that he said about me, mostly she told me.
Time out, Mr. Rutledge. What even is this drama? Turns out this man already has 5 children from 4 different women as it is. Now, adding Ms. Brown to the mix, oh, what a day. At the very least, we get to find out if Ms. Brown's baby, Sahnia, is his biological child. The DNA results are out and we're jumping right to it.
You are her father.
What? Now what? Say now. What do y'all gotta say now? Exactly. Exactly. I thought that's what y'all had to say.
I apologize. I just wanted to know for sure, Jazz. That's it.
But now you know, but you missed 16 months though.
You're right.
You been going through how you
I
gonna
can
make
make
that
that
up?
up.
though. I
I
don't care
can
how you
make
feel
that
about me. You
up.
go through my aunt if you don't wanna go through.
I can make that up.
I'm glad to hear you say
I can make that up.
Talk about drama in the courtroom. Ms. Chappelle is absolutely convinced that Mr. Todd is the father of her daughter, Walexia. She's not holding back too. She claims that Mr. Todd is only denying it because of his fiancée, Ms. Collins. Meanwhile, Mr. Todd is throwing serious shade back. He insists that there's no way Walisha is his. Now she's suing him for some money too.
Miss Chappelle, why do you feel you're owed $2,475 for these expenses?
Because I had a job, Your Honor, and he was babysitting the baby for me. And after he didn't babysit anymore, I had to start paying $75 a week for babysitting fees and lost wages, and I didn't have a babysitter, and I couldn't keep up with the babysitting fees.
He accuses Ms. Chappelle of trying to trap him with a kid that's not his. And if that wasn't enough, he's throwing in the claim that Ms. Chappelle smashed his window. Well, okay then.
And here's my papers right here.
Jerome, will you hand me those, please?
I have never watched her baby, Your Honor. I don't even know when she had a job. I ain't never saw her with no.
And you've never watched Walicia?
I never watched Walisa.
Your Honor, he has.
I don't even have a place to stay myself, so how
At his cousin's house in Shawarma house. He has dropped me off at
Now Ms. Chappelle drops a little plot twist. She says that Mr. Todd owes her some cash for bailing on babysitting duties for Walisha. But wait a minute, Mr. Todd fires back, calling it a straight-up lie because he never even watched the baby in the first place. To add salt to injury, this is how he describes their relationship while they were together.
Just a minute. You two were in a sexual relationship, right?
Yes. It wasn't a relationship.
It wasn't a relationship.
No.
You were just having sex.
And just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, he adds that he's never been in a serious relationship with Ms. Chappelle, and they simply had casual sex often. Today, the courtroom is like a soap opera. We just don't know what's coming next.
If you were having sex and she got pregnant, were you using protection every time?
No. The time when we met, I was pregnant.
But
we never used.
when we met, she was pregnant.
She was already pregnant with a baby. But he accepted me with
But the other baby, Walisa.
With someone else's baby.
Hold up, did we hear that right? Miss Chappelle spilled the tea that she had a baby on the way before even crossing paths with Mr. Todd. She went ahead and had that baby, and now she's popped out another one, claiming Mr. Todd is the dad this time around. What a bombshell. This drama just hit a whole new level of crazy.
Why is it you doubt that Walicia is your child?
Because at the time, she was messing around with other guys, and by me being young and just doing crazy stuff, I go and mess with her at the same time too, so she was messing with men all at one time. But this one never my girl. I was in a relationship with someone.
Mr. Todd doubles down on his stance. He's insisting that he's never been in a serious relationship with Ms. Chappelle. He admits to some messing around, but claims he was with someone else at the time. He's not denying denying being a bit of a player. Oops. But he's drawing the line at being a baby daddy. But hey, here's a little reality check. Relationships or not, you can still end up with a baby. It seems like Mr. Todd might need to brace himself for some unexpected news.
He couldn't be in love.
But I still had a main girl. Yeah, I was messing with her.
So, Ms. Chappelle, do you admit that you were having sex with other people in addition to Mr. Todd during the window of conception?
No, Your Honor.
She a liar.
She was not even in the picture, Your Honor, so she has nothing to do with this. We was together here.
And just when you thought things couldn't get any wilder, Ms. Collins steps into the spotlight with her own news. She has some serious beef with Ms. Chappelle over allegedly wrecking her windows. According to Ms. Collins, Ms. Chappelle didn't only swipe Mr. Todd's phone, she also went full-on wrecking ball mode and smashed her windows while she was chilling inside. What a chaotic situation.
This is the receipt for the window repair, total $375.
Yes, Your Honor, that Ms. Chappelle did.
Ms. Chappelle, did you bust the windows out her car?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You did?
Because she came at me and we had an altercation. She came
It's
all
about
the way
Walter.
from Four Seasons.
It's about
And he
Walter.
was
It's not
already
about
out there in the
no, I
apartment where we
approach her.
was.
Seriously, who goes around busting car windows? That's not a good look for Ms. Chappelle at all. But oh well, she's not sweating the small stuff. Ms. Chappelle's got her eyes on the prize. She's completely focused on getting a DNA test sorted for her daughter, Walisha. Great job, Ms. Chappelle. No need to rush, we'll get there eventually.
And what made me have doubt that this is not his baby, she doesn't look like Mr. Todd. And my cousin came and told me, she was saying it could be someone else's baby than Mr. Todd. So that's why I have doubt, because my cousin came and told me.
Ms. Chappelle, do you ever recall saying that
No,
baby
Your
Walicia
Honor.
had another father?
She's lying. No, you Honor.
Ms. Chappelle's confidence is not shaken as she explains Mr. Todd's promise to stand by her and accept the baby when she broke the news of her pregnancy. But hold up, let's pump the brakes for a second. As heartwarming as that promise may be, it's not a DNA test, and it certainly isn't proof that Mr. Todd is Walisha's father.
Yes, I went to the hospital. Yes, ma'am.
And why did you go
I went to the hospital because I was going to do an interview downtown at that same time around she had the baby. Once I got in there, the doctor said, who is the father? What one of y'all the father? I said, who it looked like? The doctor said, it looked like my friend.
No, it's...
Well, oops. Just because he said he'd support the pregnancy doesn't automatically make him biologically related to the baby. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, let's see what the DNA test has to say about all of this. It's time to finally uncover the truth in the midst of all this drama.
Mr. Todd, you are not the father. And you're smiling, Ms. Chappelle?
Yes, because at the end of the day, this is his child. What they did, they say, I ain't having sex with no one else.
After 20 years, Mr. Jackson III doubts that he is the father of 20-year-old son, Mr. Jackson IV. Now, he is in court today with Mrs. Jackson, and these two are sharing too much information about what happened between them all those years ago. About their marriage, Mr. Jackson adds that the entire thing was a big fraud. Apparently, Mrs. Jackson only mentioned that their son may not be his about a year into their marriage.
So once she told me that, we got married in December of '95, a few months after she got pregnant, and come up a year into the marriage, and I find out that he may not be my child, Your Honor.
And so you stepped up to the plate and married her?
Yes, ma'am, 2 months after she told me.
You go to the doctor's appointments, you were there when James Jackson IV.
So Mr. Jackson has been in his supposed son's life from the very beginning till now. He was in the hospital during his birth, and he attended all the milestones in the boy's life. I mean, they were basically a family. Now, how did these two meet to start this family? Mr. Jackson goes on to explain interestingly to the court.
We met in Job Corps. So we both took nursing classes together. The first time we had sex was in the Green Grass Motel.
What is that exactly?
When we was on the campus, we couldn't have sex in our dorms because it was separate dorm rooms. So we had to wait till nighttime to go out in the field and have sex on the Green Grass Hotel.
Oh, you called that the grass? Oh,
the grass.
Hold up with that one, Mr. Jackson. Now imagine poor Jackson IV's ears hearing that. Oh, he just might have an ear bleed. Back to the power couple. It seems like both parties believe that they were tricked into the whole relationship thing by the other person. Here is what they have to say as a description of what happened.
Looking like a nerve. I didn't think he was gonna amount to much. He had a pick on his hair, he had on matching clothes, he had tennis shoes on, and he always
He had a pick in his hair and matching clothes and tennis.
No matching.
Oh, they didn't match?
No. So one day I just went on and talked to him.
And so you ended up having a sexual relationship?
Yeah.
Did you use protection?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, here they go again. giving out information that nobody asked for. If they were not exactly dating, then why did they get married after a while? Mr. Jackson says that he did not want his son to grow up without a father like he did. He thought Ms. Jackson was pregnant, and he decided to step up and start an actual family, which is exactly what he did.
Only 3 days she could have got pregnant.
In August of 1995, it'd be the 11th, 12th, and 13th.
That's correct. Okay, from after we got married.
With Jackson. Okay.
And my son is born on June 8th, 1996.
June 8th. All right, why are you doubtful about these
Because
dates?
unless he's not my son, or you're looking at the only woman.
To cut the long story short, we get to find out the truth. Is Ms. Jackson perhaps the 8th wonder of the world by being pregnant for over 10 months? Are Mr. Jackson's calculations incorrect? Is Jackson the 4 going to start to look for his real father after 20 years? The results of the paternity test are out.
Mr. Jackson, you are his father. Great news, right?
Awesome news. Yeah.
That's wonderful. You happy, Mr. Jackson?
Oh, yes.
Abandoned her, they get back together, and now he's accusing her of cheating. Well, 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 talk about a messy situation. Mustafa Matlock spills the tea, revealing that a while back he had to leave town for some family stuff. But the thing is, while he was away, his partner, Ms. Monroe, decided to invite her ex-lover to crash at their place.
While absent, you claim the defendant, Ms. Monroe, invited her former lover to move into your family home.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Upon your return, you say you forgave her and resumed your sexual relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
But then she dropped the bombshell that she was pregnant and you might not.
Fast forward to Mustafa's return, and he's back to getting cozy with Ms. Monroe. But here's where it gets juicy. Ms. Monroe drops the bombshell that she's not so sure about the paternity of her child. And to add fuel to the fire, she claims Mustafa went MIA on her during his absence, which pushed her into the arms of her former flame.
She knew I was back and forth from Fort Smith to Fayetteville because I have a son down in that area. Back in 07, I was down there for a week.
No, you said
you said
you were going to be gone a weekend and you were gone a month.
It was a week. You're
lying.
Were gone a month. It was a week.
You were gone a month.
Anyway, Your Honor,
you were gone a month.
When I was gone for a week.
No, you were gone a week.
She moved her ex.
Well, ain't that a kicker? Ms. Monroe is laying it all out there. No sugarcoating whatsoever. She's basically saying, hey, I did what I had to do, but at least I was honest about it. Can you believe it? She's spinning it like Mustafa should. Be thanking her for being upfront about the whole messy situation. I mean, talk about turning things on their head. This drama keeps getting more and more outrageous by the minute.
Do you find out that she's moved another man into the house?
From her?
Yeah, I told you. At least I was honest.
Ms. Monroe. Ms. Monroe, I want to hear from you. So
yes, I am.
You was not honest about the baby.
He's gone now.
Yes.
For about how long?
He originally told me he'd be gone for a week.
Mr. Matlock's not holding back either. He's firing back, saying he didn't feel the need to be glued to the phone chatting with Ms. Monroe while he was spending quality time with his son. And honestly, who can blame him? Family time comes first, right? Looks like both sides are pulling out all the stops.
You should still have to talk to me if I'm your girlfriend. You should care.
You should care. Jealousy issues thinking I'm sleeping with
if you would have gave me a reason, then I wouldn't have jealousy issues.
Let's get some order. Ms. Monroe, when he went out of town, did he voluntarily call you at all while he was gone?
Live.
Talk about a whirlwind romance. Ms. Monroe sure doesn't waste any time. It's like she's on fast forward mode or something. So, Mr. Matlock comes back home, the ex gets the boot, and they try to pick up where they left off. But then, plot twist. Mr. Matlock's sister drops the bombshell that Ms. Monroe is pregnant. Can you imagine the shock on his face? So, he does what any guy would do. He straight up asks her who the baby daddy is. Let's see how this drama turns out.
You're not the father. Real talk. Can't make it up. That's what she said. You are not the father. So, I'm not taking care of somebody else's baby, and you tell me that that baby is not my baby.
So, once you heard that...
Out. I catch my cut, and I was gone. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Monroe's logic might be a bit shaky, but oh well. She's trying to piece it together, right? She's basically saying, hey, we've been going at it without protection for a year and a half, and no baby. But right when her ex moves in, bam, she's pregnant. It's definitely an eyebrow-raising coincidence. And then we've got Mr. Matlock throwing in his 2 cents, saying the kid could belong to anyone, even Jerome. What a funny day in court. Looks like we've got ourselves a real mystery here.
You don't think the child looks like you? You don't feel any attachment?
Baby.
You talking about this Jerome?
That Jerome.
No, it's not mine.
She looks a little dark to be his baby.
You better not mess with Jerome.
It could be his baby.
So the point is that you have doubt. Do you know for
for certain or you just doubt?
Well, if that isn't such a truth bomb, once you drop that bombshell and tell a guy he's not the father, there's no taking it back. It's like ringing a bell. Once it's rung, you can't unring it. However, Ms. Monroe's flipping the script. She's doing a complete 180 and changing her tune about Mr. Matlock being the daddy. That's a queen right there. What a woman.
Happy New Year's. What's up? What's up is you need to check on your daughter. I didn't even know she had a girl. Another man was in the hospital room with her when the baby was born. I was back in town taking care of my son, doing what a father's supposed to be. And if you would have been real about it, if you would have been real about it in the beginning, you don't never know. If you wouldn't.
Mr. Matlock's in quite the pickle now. Despite his doubts about being the dad, he's shelling out child support for this kid. But here's the thing. He gets a Facebook message from the other guy Ms. Monroe was seeing, spilling the beans about another potential baby daddy in the mix. So, how in the world did Mr. Matlock end up on the hook for child support for a kid he's not even sure is his?
She didn't want to get the DNA test done. It's been 3 or 4 years. And she didn't never want to know who the father of this child was. So, let's get it done. Put me on child support.
I tried to call you from the hospital. I tried to call you from the hospital.
You ain't do a good job. I called them, filled out the papers they wanted me to send so I can...
Now please cut to the chase. Today's the day we finally put an end to all this drama. It's DNA test time. We're about to find out once and for all who the real dad is. This is the moment of truth, because there's no more beating around the bush. Judge Lake reads out the truth.
Mr. Matlock, the wait is over. You are not.
I knew it. I want my money back. I told you I wasn't the father of that child. I knew it.
Jerome, would you go check on Ms. Monroe and see if we can escort her back in the courtroom?
I want all my money back. I worked way too hard. My son could have been had that money.
This man standing in the courtroom today is Paternity Court's most wanted man. This is not his first time here, nor his second. It's his third time in the paternity court for various reasons with different women. Here is what happened during his first visit.
Ms. Reed, you are demanding that Ms. Austin have a paternity test administered on her child, whom she claims was fathered by your estranged husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're hoping the DNA test will prove that your husband is not her baby's father. Additionally, you are suing his mistress, Ms.
Imagine that. How are you engaged to someone you have a baby with and still finding time to have another girlfriend? What a guy. As an icing on the cake, Mr. Wallace was not present at the hospital while all this was happening. He was not there while his pregnant fiancée was giving birth to his baby. Away from all that, here was the reason he was at paternity court the second time.
Now, it would be different if you were just a young man sowing your oats.
I am.
And you had let all these women know that, listen, I'm a dating man, I'm single, but you're not single.
I am.
You're not single. You are married to her.
That was an accident. That was
No.
So now it was an accident.
Okay.
So now it was an accident.
And so,
right.
And so I hope.
What a turnout of events. Today, however, Mr. Wallace is in court today to prove that he is not the father of Ronald. Now, here's a little plot twist to get the court case going. Miss Austin tells the court that she's here to test the paternity of Ronald, but she's currently pregnant for her third child for Mr. Wallace. Now, this man has been going back and forth with 2 women as his current girlfriend is also pregnant right now. How does that even work?
Because let me just say something, because last time I talked to you on the phone, you know I called you one day. You had your kids. You sounded so happy. You sound like you were on the right track. You said you had your kids and you all were having a great day. And I have been talking about you nonstop since then. When people ask me some of the cases that mean the most to me, you're one of the people. And so I have to say before I even start today, I'm so mad you all back up in here.
Now, the wild part of all this is the fact that they're here. If Mr. Wallace is obviously going back and forth between these 2 women, why does he have any doubt that baby Ronell is his? It's absolutely mind-numbing. You will not believe the answer that Mr. Wallace gave to the court.
If you've been having babies with both of these women back and forth all this time.
Because she's very promiscuous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. It's what they would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. And again, for about the 5th, 6th time.
Every single thing about this man shows that he is a red flag. Everything. He could even be a psychopath. After installing the spyware into her phone, he got copies of her text messages and call logs sent to to his email. He basically went full stalker mode on this woman. He claims that there were about 6 she was on the phone with. Without any proof whatsoever, he adds that she slept with them all. What a guy.
Miss Austin, were you sleeping with these men?
No. Lie detector me, please, right now.
How is you can't just be involved with all these different men without doing it?
Oh, I'm not you. Just because you lay down with everybody who you talk to. Because that's what you do.
You and the Lord know you a slut.
No, you're a slut.
Hold on.
You're a slut. You're a slut.
Mr. Wallace,
You're a
you
slut.
remember from the last time you were here, we are going to speak to women respect.
Well, oops. They went on bickering until Mr. Wallace eventually said he kept sleeping with Ms. Austin because she was easily accessible. Ms. Austin insisted that it was easy to access her because his current girlfriend, Ms. Roberts, allows him to. This led to a physical face-off between both women, led by Ms. Roberts. Unsurprising, she got removed from the courtroom. If Mr. Wallace didn't get both women pregnant for him at the same time, nobody would need to be here.
The mistakes that I made.
Actually, Raniel left his apartment and he moved with Kendra.
Just out of the blue, he woke up and said, I'm going to move with Miss Roberts now?
Just go with her.
So what happened?
You were being promiscuous, and I'm not going to tolerate that.
So basically, Mr. Wallace, you can sleep around, but your women can't.
Great question from Judge Lake. Very insightful. He goes on to say that although there are a lot of glaringly similar features between he and Ronald, he has to judge Ms. Austin's behaviors while they were together. He also has to consider the possibilities of there being another man before he can consider physical similarities between himself and baby Ronald.
You couldn't forgive her. You all couldn't work through this. Instead, you just went to stay with Miss Roberts.
And abandoned me and my children.
That's false.
The apartment that I have now is because I moved in because of Raniel. Because of Raniel. Raniel left me to go be with Ms. Roberts. He don't care. It's all about him, and he doesn't care. And I'm done. Like, what more can I put into this?
That's false.
What an emotional situation this has become all of a sudden. If this man keeps putting these women through all this pain and turbulence, it's completely crazy that they stick to him and not let go. What could possibly be the reason? We get to know how Mr. Wallace feels about the entire situation. Hell breaks loose in court.
Agitated.
You feel agitated?
Yes.
Tell me.
Because of the bull crap performance she put on. Look, well, I need to walk out.
Let's stay here and finish it. Come on.
Raniel, don't walk out again. You can stand up here. Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here.
The courtroom just got even hotter. If you thought Mr. Wallace was a psych before, you definitely haven't seen anything yet. Mr. Wallace is escorted back into the courtroom after a short while, and Judge Lake tells him the much-needed truth. She's definitely not taking anybody's side, but only asking the needed questions. Now, after a long time, on to the results.
Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father. I want to get you all some help. I have joining me today via Skype a gentleman by the name of Mr. Wright. Now, he's a social worker in Chicago, your hometown, based right there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, I have a number of social services. I have a number of resources that I want to wrap these.
High school sweethearts have 2 kids together, and he's denying both of them. The couple are now in their late 20s too. This romance has started all the way back in 2009 while they were both in high school. Mr. Pippin met Ms. Lewis on the school bus, and they were already having sex a year later at age 16. He'd already asked her to have his first child. Oh, kids. Looks like Mr. Pippin does not share all these fond memories, though. He calls her a liar and a cheat. He does not believe the baby is his.
Oh, so you're saying it's a timing issue?
Yes, ma'am. I was staying in Tarboro at the time with Miss Sanders.
I have the proof from y'all if you want to see.
I would like to see the proof. Jerome, please pass that to me.
And they said I got pregnant on conception was on May 25th when I was with Mr. Pippin because he kept blowing my phone and popping up at my house. So I can't be with somebody and he kept popping up, crawling over top of my daggone balcony, knocking on my back door.
Mr. Pippin's already stated that he wanted to be with Ms. Lewis. She adds that he tells her that he wants her to be the mother of his children and he wants them to get married. After saying all of this, he simply went over to Ms. Sanders' house to keep living there with her. What a guy.
You are her child's biological father.
Her with her ex-boyfriend.
Your Honor, when he told me, hey, now we're getting somewhere.
Then I tried to call her phone. She didn't want to answer her phone.
Your Honor,
so I went to the house. By the time I got there, she was back to the house. So I asked her about it.
Your Honor, the night he claiming he saw me with his boyfriend was in December of 2011.
Ms. Lewis goes on to say that Mr. Pippin does not care about baby Quayshawn because he's slammed the door on the poor baby. This happened when he found out about the possibility of the baby being his. To make matters even worse, Mr. Pippin claims to have proof here in court today that this baby is definitely not his.
Hand me that evidence. Mr. Pippin, what exactly is this?
That's the
evidence
proof of the DNA test. The results was that I was not the father.
Your Honor, you know why he's not the father? Mr. Pippin and him that day kept going forth to the bathroom, showing us stuff, whispering Miss Sanders about different things.
Yes, Your Honor.
And
I was
asking her, she kept saying, well, did you do it? Did you do
But
it?
Your Honor, but I did not.
To the bathroom,
Your Honor, how can you
hold on? So was this?
You need to provide
Let's get some order.
Oh my! After so much bickering from all parties involved, we get to the truth of the matter. The paternity test results are out, and for sure, this one is very, very real. Judge Lake reads out the test results, and the truth is out.
Mr. Pippin, you are not.
I told you then. I told you.
Okay, I mean, difference. You ain't been doing that no way.
Thing.
So he ain't lost a game, nothing. He still got a father who's got his
Why is
back.
you making a big point of it?
Ms. Lewis, calm down. Calm down. Because this is a mess. And yet, you two continue to have a sexual relationship.
Now, that's not all of it. Remember how these two supposedly had 2 children together? Now, it's time for the second child's results.
Mr. Pippin, you are his father.
Thank you.
I told you.
Then I step up and do what I gotta do. That's what I want to know.
I might mess up with the first one, the second one.
But that's the case, I'll do what I gotta do.
Let me say this. This energy between all of you is just so toxic. I'm worried for the children. All of them. Yours together.
Mr. Tinch wants his $60 back from the mother of his supposed child if the paternity results today prove that he's not the biological father. Out of all the psycho fathers in court today, this one deserves a medal. The $60 in question is money used to purchase a baby stroller for the baby. Now, Mr. Tinch has reason to doubt that she's his biological daughter, and he wants his money back.
Mr. Tinch, moving forward a little bit, you say you were at a doctor's appointment, and something about the doctor's appointment made you doubtful?
Yes, because they said that she was about a week and a half pregnant, and like I said, about a week.
You cannot find out that you're pregnant at just a week and a half. Yes, you got to be 4 weeks. I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know if it was the hose that he was cheating on me with.
Now, Mr. Tinch insists on the paternity of the baby for an interesting reason. She went to visit the father of her first child, and after the visit, Ms. Grubb mentioned to Mr. Tinch that they kissed. However, one bit of important information his brain failed to put together was that she was already pregnant before this visit. One doesn't become pregnant, then get pregnant for another man with the same pregnancy, Mr. Tinch.
Like, I took care of my kids by myself for basically 5 years. My son, 5 years, and my daughter, a year and a half.
So, Ms. Grubb, you have 2 children?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how old are you?
18.
18 years old?
Yes, Your Honor.
With 2 children?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you were a teenage mother, you still are a teenage mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
I need to understand, Mr. Tinch.
Mrs. Grubb's ex is in court today as well, and he says squarely that he believes Mr. Tinch is using him as an excuse to avoid taking care of his responsibility. What a guy. Goes on to hit the nail right on the head. He adds that he and Ms. Grubb are just friends, and there is absolutely nothing going on between them both.
Now, Christian looks like Mike. He looks identical to Mike, but Natalie looks nothing like Mike. Nothing at all. And it hurts me because every single day for a year and a half, Natalie has said, "Mommy, where's Daddy? Mommy, 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 Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." And it hurts me because I don't know what to tell her.
Oh, Natalie, looks like we all want to know who Daddy is. We're just about to find out. The results are in, and the truth is about to come out. Who is Daddy? Hopefully, it's one of these men in court, and crazily enough, let's hope it's the $60 psycho in our story today.
That the biological father is Mr. Tinch. How does it feel, Mr. Tinch? Your doubts are put to rest?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. I don't feel heartbroken no more. I feel like a piece of my heart's been filled back in, now that I know for sure. I mean, I'd like to work things out with Hope if she's trying to.
That's all I've wanted, was for you to grow up and be in her life. That's all I've wanted.